So there's an old saying in real estate that you should try to buy the cheapest house in the best neighborhood. And that's really what this video is about, except it's not really about a house. It's about a sports card. Specifically, it's about this sports card. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so I recently bought a 2018 Topps flagship number 700 black Shohei Ohtani rookie parallel numbered to 67, and it is graded by SGC, and it is in an authentic evidence of trimming holder. So this is how I bought it. It was on eBay. I don't mind telling you what I paid because you can just as easily look it up. I paid $4,500. It is the most that I've ever paid for a sports card. And you know, it gets to a point where if you really want to land a card, and certain parallels and certain cards that are extremely hard to find tend to go up in value over time. For example, with this particular card, a PSA 7 had sold shortly before I made the decision to purchase this card. But that PSA 7 of the same card sold for $9,000 on Fanatics, including the buyer's premium. So I kind of looked at this and I'm just like, wow, $9,000 for a 7. I wanted to pay about $4,000 for this card. We ended up agreeing on $4,500. Now, I also should note that at the time of purchase, I had received an offer on eBay. There was a seller on there that had a black number to 67 and a PSA 9 that had sent me an offer of $16,000 to buy that card. And you know, I don't know if you're like me or not, but dropping $9,000, dropping $16,000 on a sports card, just not something I'm really willing to do at the moment. I thought $4,500 was pushing it a little bit, but ever since I made this purchase, it actually just came in today, which is why I'm making the video now, but every day that's gone by since I've made this purchase, I've just been happier and happier about it, because at the time of this recording, there are 0 copies of this card in any grade from authentic to tan available on any auction platform. I did a couple searches today to try to find one. There are none. So at least for the time being, these have dried up. Now, will more resurface? Sure, I would imagine so. I mean, might see one later on today. You might see one tomorrow. You might see one in a week. You might not see one for a year. I have no idea. It just depends if people want to give those up or not. My thought is, though, that there are not enough of this parallel to go around to meet the demand from collectors. You know, and since they've shot up so high, I kind of felt like, well, you know, it's one of those cards where you're just like, well, missed the boat. The opportunity's ended to be able to acquire this card. I don't want to put that kind of resources into it. So, you know, I'm never going to own this card. So I've never bought a card in an authentic holder that said evidence of trimming before. My opinion is you buy a card like that and you have to acknowledge and you have to assume that they've made an accurate assessment. I will say, looking at this card in person, I mean, I can tell you that the top right corner and edge, which the assumption of course is, or I already know, that's the issue. It doesn't look as like there's as much whiting on it as it does in the picture. The picture doesn't really do it justice. When you're looking at it in hand, it looks really nice. So I'm thrilled with the way it presents, and I just really wanted to own the card. And I thought that, you know, opportunity knocked, I answered the door. That's kind of how I look at it. Let's go into some details here. So I did research on the population reports. Now, this card's only numbered to 67, so we know that it's already a rare parallel. They're hard to find. Here are the numbers. SGC has slabbed a total of 2, including mine. CGC, 1. BGS, 7. And PSA, 33. If you add those up, the total pop count on this card is 43 copies. Now, I don't know how many of those have been graded more than once. Like if somebody had previously cracked it out, tried to get a higher grade, whatever the case may be, I have no idea. But as of right now, there's 43 of them that are in slabs from those 4 major grading companies. And I think most people would agree those are your 4 major ones: SGC, CGC, BGS, and PSA. So there's 43. So here are the reasons, like I said. Honestly, I kind of bought it thinking that, you know, this is a card that I've really wanted to own. I should have bought it earlier. And I kind of viewed this as one last opportunity to be able to pick it up. Yeah, maybe it's fear of missing out, I guess. I guess that kind of describes the fear of missing out. I wasn't desperate to land the card though. The seller wanted $6,000. I wasn't going to go any higher than 45. 4,500 was pushing it a little bit even, but I was communicating with a friend of mine, and it came down to about $100, and they kind of just were telling me, you know, not to pass on it over $100, so, which I agreed with. But you know, to me, this is the most desirable flagship parallel of Ohtani is the black, numbered 67. To me, it's not even really close. There's other numbered parallels that are nice. You know, there's the blue, there's the you know, the Independence Day. There's other ones. The black to me is by far the tops. The top, I should say. Short of a superfractor, it's really not close for me. The other thing is, like I said, opportunity knocked. Once this 7 went for $9,000, I thought that 4,500 was a fair price to be able to pick it up at half the price of a 7. Now, people might disagree with me on this. So I have questions for the collecting community. One, would you buy a trimmed card that was already labeled as such? It was already slabbed by one of the major grading companies and was labeled as such? Would you buy one? Have you bought one? What would be your reasons for wanting to buy it? You know, is it ownership of the card at all costs, above all? Or is having a number on it more important to you? Knowing that you'll pay a premium. You know, though, like I said, one big selling point for me was, man, got it for half the price of a 7. That was pretty sweet in my book. So that's one thing that I wanted to ask. Also, do you think this is a good buy? Do you think it was crazy? I mean, what are your thoughts about this? Like, I don't know. Do you think I made a good decision on this card? Keep in mind, I'm not flipping this card, okay? I personally am happy with it. And a lot of people will say, well, hey, if you're happy with it, you know, then that's all that matters. Sure. But I mean, what do you think? Do you think the reasoning process of these drying up and being difficult to find, do you think that's a big enough factor? Do you think that, you know, having that big of a discount off a 7 is a big enough factor? I'm just curious for thoughts from the collecting community. Also, I forget this sometimes, but if you haven't already, if you'd consider subscribing to the channel, that would be awesome. I really would kind of like to build up my audience going into the 2026 National. Because I'd like to shoot a lot of footage there, and I think that my videos with a lot of showcase footage are, I'm a little biased, but I think they're kind of second to none. I think I show a lot of showcase footage, and honestly, I like to go back and look at some of these too, because just like, what were the prices last year? I'd kind of like to get a good idea. And I used to love watching showcase videos when other people would make them and I wasn't able to attend the show. That's part of it too. So if you consider that, that'd be awesome. With that said, one last thing. If you haven't already also, national tickets went up for sale. I went ahead and secured a VIP pass. And so I had heard that they started releasing hotel rooms a while back already. We're going a different route this year. We're getting an Airbnb. We're kind of adding to our crew. Instead of a normal 3-person crew that we have 4. My wife is coming with this year, so I'm excited about that. And so it'd be cheaper for us to just get an Airbnb. So we're renting a house basically instead of hotel rooms. So the con is, you know, you can't walk to the event, But the pro is you save money, you have access to more stuff, you basically got a full kitchen and all that stuff. So there's kind of some trade-offs. So curious as to your thoughts about this card and this video in general. So feel free to make some comments, and I'll see you in the next one.